Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Fort Collins. I think I've talked to everybody, but we're not going to have any special announcements today because we do the nature of our service. It's going to be really special. We're so excited. But we're just going to have an abbreviated announcement period. Do we have anybody here that is here for the first time that we just want to recognize you? Oh, awesome. Well, Kimberly, our speaker. And thank you. Awesome. Did you get a welcome handout? Yes, awesome. So that's good. And you saw where the coffee is and all that. So feel free to help yourself. You're more than welcome to have it here in the sanctuary. So do that. And we welcome our online participants out there in cyberspace. We got people watching us via YouTube and Facebook. So welcome to them as well. Today our speaker is, I'm going to try and say it right, Kimberly Salico-Diehl. Oh, I did it. Okay. And the readers we have today, we have multiple. Barbara Weimar, Dalia Pettigrew, Kellee James, Reverend Sharon, and Joellen Fulton. And our musician today is John, and I see Elise, so I think Elise is in the mix too. I don't know, her name's not here. Okay. Prayer chaplain today is Jim Weimar, and he'll be in the Myrtle Room for about 10 minutes after the service to pray with you. There's also a prayer chaplain meeting today at 11:15 in the Roomy Room. Next Sunday after service, there's a Love in Action meeting. Today, we have FOCO Pride this afternoon from 12 to 4, and Unity will have a booth, so please feel free to stop by. It's in Library Park. You can contact Stuff Demon if you have any questions. Then we should have a sign-up sheet. Julie, for Megara, is that going around? Right here. Oh, right here. Okay, so we have a sign-up sheet for Megara who has to go daily to Poudre Valley Hospital for treatments, and we're looking for rides for her.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to thank all of you on this side who signed up last week, but the clipboard didn't get around to this side. So I'm going to pass it again. We have rides scheduled all for this coming week. It's 6 weeks. She can't drive, and she has no family. So we are her family as we do this. And she's much appreciative of what we're doing with this. So I'll start over here. She lives off of Mulberry and Timberline. So if you're out in that area, it would be a very short drive to her place, to Poudre Valley Hospital. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Jim. These guys have exceptions to being good. And I got to go first.
Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I wanted to tell you a little bit about next week. Not this week, next week. Next week we have a special service. It has to do with healing and wholeness. We have a couple of film clips to share with you. And then there's a workshop. Starts at noon. It's roughly 2.5, 3 hours. We're going to be looking at a film called You Can Heal Yourself. I believe there's resources there for you that you will soon be able to use in your own life or a life of a loved one. So the situation is you might want to get something to eat between 11 and noon. So bring your lunch, or you can go out and get something and bring it back here. But that's our schedule for next week. One other thing I'm going to acknowledge here quickly, we have 5 individuals that completed the Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute course. I have certificates for you. It's Barbara and Jim and Gwen and Anisha and Elise. Yes. So you can pick those up for me afterwards. Thank you.
And there is a brochure in your bulletin with more information about Jim's healing series. And also in your bulletin is all the information about all the events around here. So if I'm going too fast for you, it's all in there. So you can take that home and look it over. If you ordered a T-shirt commemorating the 50th, they are in. A bunch of people picked them up last week, but there are a few more that need to be picked up. So just go to the bookstore for that. The annual yard sale is on July 12th. I know that's a little far out, but you can start dropping things off at the end of this month, June 29th. So start digging through those closets and garages and basements and find all those treasures that you can bring here so we can sell them and raise some wonderful funds for Unity. Will's walking group will be meeting again on Monday, June 9th, which is a week from this coming tomorrow, sorry. They're gathering at Spring Canyon Park at 9 a.m. Will, just raise your hand. If you have any questions, just check with Will. And I think I'm going to skip that part. Community Lunch Bunch is heading to Modern Market at 11:30. I think I did pretty good. Okay, that's fast. All right. I did. Thank you. You're good. We're good. Oh, did you need a welcome packet? A welcome handout? Okay. All right. So let's all take a deep breath, center ourselves in our hearts, and we say, our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize God within and to radiate that love to the world.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to thank you all for inviting me to come here today. I have a special service planned for you. It is a service about love, and it goes through different stages of love. There's going to be a section I wanted to let you know that will kind of cover, let me say, a little heavy on the grief side. But don't worry, I move you through. I am a somatic experiencing practitioner and big on this concept of resilience and the body, so I never want to dip you too deep into the waters of anxiety, fear, loss, grief, and all of that, so that you are able to still experience joy and life and love, which is something we need. I also want to especially say Happy Pride, everyone who celebrates. Woohoo! I'm so excited that you are having a table at Pride today, and I hope to see some of you there. And I also want to say, do a quick little introduction of our readers as they come forward. We have Joellen, Sharon, Kellee, Barbara, and Dalia, and they've been practicing this reading for months as of this morning. So if you can figure that out. So there's going to be a couple songs that I wrote. One is a song and one's really a chant. The chant is so easy you're going to pick it up. But the song has this little difficult section, and I think we've got it right up there. I want us to first say the words out loud. Are you ready? Harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Okay, now it goes really fast in the song, so we're going to pick it up a little bit. I'm going to have you repeat after me. Peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Okay, now we're going to sing harmony. Harmony. Now it's harmony, truth, faith, hope. Harmony, truth, faith, hope. Now we're going to sing the rest of it. Harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. So it's for understanding and love. So we're going to do that a little faster. Harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. One more time. Harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Okay, so I think you guys got it. I think you have your parts. There's going to be another place where you're going to have a part where she's going to raise your hand, and you're going to have to say something all together and be really excited about it. So you'll have to, try really hard. And remember to breathe. And so we're going to start with our poem, and then we'll go into the song, and then we will just keep going. Thank you so much. And Dalia.
This is The Sun Never Says by Hafiz via Daniel Ladinsky. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the sky.
Make me a channel of your peace, oh Lord. Make me a channel of your love. Keep me away from the temptation to hurt, that I might be a bearer of harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love.
Yeah. Yeah.
A reading from 1 Corinthians 13.
We will read Eugene Peterson's version from the Message.
A highly edited version of Eugene Peterson's The Message,
With commentary.
with extensive commentary.
Let us begin with verse 1.
The Way of Love.
If I speak,
If I speak,
If I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy,
But do,
not,
love,
I'm nothing.
I am nothing.
no
thing.
thing but the creaking of a rusty gate. Creak. If I speak God's word with power,
Revealing all God's mysteries and making everything
plain as
Day,
And if I have faith that says to the mountain,
jump!
and it jumps.
but I don't love
I
am
nothing.
If I give everything I own to the poor, and even to the state to be burned as a martyr,
but I don't love,
I've gotten nowhere.
nowhere.
no how.
place. So no matter what I say,
what I believe,
And what I do,
I'm bankrupt.
bankrupt.
According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the term bankrupt means A, reduced to a state of financial ruin, impoverished. B, broken and ruined financially. C, exhausted of valuable qualities, sterile. And D, destitute, as in bankrupt of all merciful feelings.
So, no matter what I say, no matter what I believe, and no matter what I do, I'm bankrupt without love.
Without love.
Without
Without
love.
Without love.
without love,
Without love.
Without love.
Teach me to love, open up my heart, help me to be closer to thee. Teach me to love, open up my heart, help me to be closer to thee. So I'm going to tell you a story about how God knocked me down at, get this, a holy roller revival. Has any of you ever been to one of those? Okay, well, let me tell you. I was 15 years old, and I may have taken a few too many of a certain mushroom and some other items, and for some reason, they always invited me and my friends, who were, by the way, avowed Satanists, to babysit their children. So I was up there, and I have to tell you, I had a really hard time being alive on this planet. I had all the things that we can sometimes get, all those pains, and I tried everything so many times. And this was the one thing that made me feel better about myself. And, but strangely enough, I was watching all those people. We were in a balcony up here, and everybody was down there, and the front of the church was way back there. And I was watching everybody dancing and talking in different languages and rolling around and falling to the ground. And I thought that we were laughing. I have to tell you, we were laughing. And for some reason, and I don't know what it was, I came downstairs, and I went up during the offering time. Up to the front. People were lining up to the front because at the very front, they were collecting the offering and someone was going to pray with you. I don't know what happened, but I took off the inverted cross I had around my neck. Which is technically the cross of St. Peter, but don't tell people that, it'll ruin it for everybody. I took it off and I went up to the front with tears in my eyes, and I don't know what came over me, but I dropped it in the offering plate. Next thing I know, I'm not kidding you. Next thing I know, I fell flat backwards. I had been slain in the spirit, and I was filled with holiness and pureness, and I was dancing and talking in tongues, and I was so happy and filled and pure, and for the first time in my life, I felt a love beyond anything I could ever understand, and I knew there was nothing wrong with me in that moment. The next day, when I woke up, the depression was back, the fear was back, the anxiety, the self-hatred, the feeling icky. It took a long time for me to work through all that, but I have to tell you, I used to make fun of myself for that story, how silly I was at the time to think that anything could fix me or cure me. But I will never forget the time Jesus kissed me on the lips and asked me to dance.
As part of this Lovefest, we're going to do a song here. It's called You Are Sacred Love. You are sacred love. That's all that you are. I'm going to sing it one time through, and then I'm going to ask you to sing with me. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love, that's all that you are. Show the way, Lord, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a holy place. You are sacred love. You are sacred love. Sacred love, that's all that you are. You You are sacred love, sacred love. That's all that you are. Show me the way. Show the way, Lord, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love. That's all that you are. Oh, you are sacred love, sacred love. That's all that you are. Give me 2 more times, loud. You are sacred love, sacred love. That's all that you are. One more. You are sacred love, sacred love. That's all that you are.
Well, my instructions here say to read this as if I'm giving advice to someone younger. That's real easy for me. Happens all the time. So this is Letters to a Young Poet by Reiki. If a sadness rises in front of you, larger than any you have ever seen, if an anxiety like light and cloud shadows move over your hands and over everything you do, you must realize that something is happening to you, that life has not forgotten you, and it holds you in its hand, and it will not let you fall.
Make me a channel of your peace, oh Lord. Make me a channel of your love. Keep me away from the temptation to hurt, that I might be a bearer of harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love.
God is
is
love.
love.
Love never gives up.
God is love. Love cares more for others than for self.
God is. Wait a minute. Love cares more for others than self? That doesn't sound very healthy.
Yeah, I thought Jesus said love your neighbor as yourself, not more than yourself.
I think maybe instead of the self as an entity created by God, in God's image, with unconditional love, I think it may mean more about selfishness, as in, I want what I want, and I don't care if it hurts someone else.
It's important that we have this discussion because some people get love mixed up with hurt and even abuse.
When other people hurt us or take advantage of us,
Or try to control us and manipulate us.
Or take away our God-instilled right to be free and whole and human.
That's not love.
Do we all understand the difference between the love that is about caring for others and the way some people use the word love to dominate and control others?
yes,
indeed.
Let's continue with the scripture. Now, where did we leave off?
Love cares more for others than for self.
And then we all say, God is love.
Well, I have a thought. How about we have the congregation say, God is love instead of us?
Yeah, I mean, we say it like 123 times practically every day. Look at those beautiful people out there, just sitting. The wheels are going round and round in their head, waiting for their time to shine.
So are you guys ready to give it a try? Yes. Oh, come on.
Okay. Let's practice first. When I raise my hand, you say, God is love.
God is love.
God is love.
God is love.
Excellent.
All right, let's get back into our groove. Take a breath.
Love cares for others more than for self.
God is love.
Love doesn't want what it doesn't have.
Love doesn't strut.
And love doesn't have a swelled head.
God is love.
Love doesn't force itself on others.
Love isn't always me first.
Love doesn't fly off the handle.
God is love.
Love doesn't keep score of the sins of others.
Love doesn't revel when others grovel.
God is love.
love.
Love takes pleasure in the flowering of truth.
Love puts up with anything.
Love trusts God always.
God is
God
love.
is love. Love always looks for the best.
God is
God is
love.
love.
Is love.
Love never looks back.
God is love.
But love keeps going to the end.
God is love.
God
Is
Love.
God is love.
Teach me to love, open up my heart, help me to be closer to thee. After the song. God is love. God is love, everybody. I'm going to tell you a story about my grandmother. And she was an amazing woman. And she was actually, it's so interesting, isn't it, in our families, how we can have people that had very different views than us when we became adults, that we love and adore, and still when we think about them, even though they're long gone, a tear can form in the corner of our eye. We miss them so much. So my father was a pastor, an American Baptist pastor. He was a very progressive pastor and was always hanging out with people of different faith traditions or no faith tradition. He was supporting women. He was supporting LGBTQ people in the pulpit in the 80s. He was a pretty awesome guy. And he became my hero, especially as I kind of got my act together when I became an adult. And very close. There's 4 of us kids, all very close in our family. And the worst thought I ever had in my life was if my dad died suddenly without me being able to plan for it, because I like to plan for things. Any planners out there? Well, he had a stroke. He was 57. He was on his way to do the funeral of my sister's mother-in-law, who died at 60 suddenly. Very traumatic time for our family. And my grandmother, his mother, I'll never forget after he died, she just had such a heartbreak that I didn't understand. I thought I was the center of the world still. Even though I was 33, I didn't understand any other heartbreak than losing a father. And she lost her son. And my mother lost her partner. And it was a couple years later when my grandfather died. And that was a sadness I couldn't understand because, there was this thought, oh, they lived a long time together. My parents didn't have as long together, and I know many couples who didn't have as long together. But one of the things, when you have somebody in your life that long, is that I realized then is that means that is that much of more of life that you know not without the other person. I remember being at her house, at her apartment, and she was on her bed, and she had a picture of my grandfather. And I sort of like walked in the room about to say something, and I didn't say anything. I don't even know if she knew I was there. I'd never seen anything like this before. She was holding the picture of my grandfather, tracing around his face in the picture, with tears pouring down her cheek. Now, about a couple years later, my grandmother was a singer, by the way. I mean, she wasn't a professional singer, but she knew every single church camp song, hymn, anything you can ever imagine, memorized every single lyric. She ended up having this horrible lung issue, and she was in the hospital, and she was having a hard time breathing. And I remember I was in Syracuse, New York, and I had pulled the car over on the highway, I don't know where I was thinking, to talk to my grandmother, because I couldn't even hardly hear her voice. She'd be like, hi, Kimmy doll. And she'd be, I'd try to get her not to talk. Now, I was in seminary at the time. And while I was in seminary, I was learning all these wonderful things about how you can be present for someone else. The word ruach, which means the breath of God. And so I was talking to her about all the stuff I was learning. And I was like, Graham, it's okay. Just, feel God's breath in you. I don't know what I thought I was doing. But then we started talking about that hymn, Breathe on Me, Breath of God, if any of you know it. And I said, let me sing it for you, Grandma, because there was no way she could sing. She couldn't even say 3 words without coughing. I started singing, breathe on me, breath of God, fill me with life anew. And I forgot the rest of the words, but she was filling them in. That I might love as thou dost love, and do what thou wouldst do. And those were my grandmother's last words to me.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, but you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Don't change a hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Don't you change a hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. I said, honey, with you, each day is Valentine's Day.
Wow. How do I follow that? The name of this poem is Love Note for Grief. It is by John O'Donohue.
Thank you so much.
When you lose someone you love, your life becomes strange. The ground beneath you becomes fragile. Your thoughts make your eyes unsure. And some dead echo drags your voice down, where words have no confidence. Your heart has grown heavy with loss. And though this loss has wounded others too, no one knows what has been taken from you. When the silence of absence deepens, flickers of guilt kindle regret for all that was left unsaid or undone. There are days when you wake up happy, again inside the fullness of life, until the moment breaks, and you are thrown back onto the black tide of loss. Days when you have your heart back, you're able to function well, until in the middle of work or encounter, suddenly, with no warning, you are ambushed by grief. It becomes hard to trust yourself. All you can depend on now is that sorrow will remain faithful to itself. More than you, it knows the way and will find the right time to pull the rope of grief until that coiled hill of tears has reduced to its last drop. Gradually, you will learn acquaintance with the invisible form of your departed. And when the work of grief is done, the wound of loss will heal, and you will have learned to wean your eyes from that gap in the air and be able to enter the hearth in your soul where your loved one has awaited your return all the time.
Wow, Kelly. That Donahue poem really got me.
Yeah, me too.
Gradually, you will learn acquaintance with the invisible form of your departed. Who writes like that anymore?
I miss the poetry of the good old days.
Yeah, like Allen Ginsberg and Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Emily Dickinson or Edgar Allan Poe.
Maybe we should keep reading, 1 Corinthians 13. I mean, Reverend Kimberly, she's Italian, New York, from the American Baptist persuasion. I've heard those Baptists can go on for hours.
Good point. Let's keep reading.
Love never dies.
Wait. I need a minute.
We are going to be here forever.
What's going on, Barbara?
I understand the concept that God is love. God is eternal, and God never dies. So love never dies. But the phrase, love never dies, is loaded. It seems harsh to say that when there's so much grief and loss in the world.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not cry every time I watch the news. The violence, suffering, lack of care for folks, the starving children.
The sexism, the racism, the homophobia, transphobia, peoplephobia, really.
Yeah, each day we add to the growing list of different groups of people that are now to be treated with hatred and disdain, as if they aren't human like the rest of us.
And then I end up hating people. Every day I turn on the news and hate people. Usually it's the people who hate and marginalize other people that I hate. Then I get self-righteous in my hate, and that's not right either.
How can we say love never dies when we witness the literal dying of love everywhere we look?
I know it feels like hatred has completely sucked up all the air, so there is nothing left except the tiniest whimpers begging for attention and consideration. But is that true?
Have we reached a state of lovelessness that we can never return or even be resurrected from?
The whole point of Paul's letter to the Corinthians is to remind the people that they have chosen the way of Christ, the way of love, that all are included. The circle can only grow wider.
Well, that's how Christianity is supposed to be, but a lot of us never experienced that in church. Instead, it was condemnation. You're going to burn in hell for all eternity, blah, blah, blah. I'm a meanie God. You must bow to me.
Wow. That was a lot.
And it's why so many of us, even here, left the church. Our experience had little to do with this love thing, and more to do with might, right, and hell fury. Who needs that?
The hurt. The hurt feels so big, though, like my heart is crushing.
I understand, Sharon. When I asked for a pause initially, it wasn't because I don't believe it's true that love conquers all, or however that trite quote goes. I wanted to acknowledge where many of us are still today.
I imagine they maybe felt the same way a couple millennia ago. Maybe Paul was trying to help them to stop fighting with each other over silly things and remember that the Christ light, God, Goddess, higher power, source of life, lives on through them, through their love for all those hurting, those who don't otherwise belong.
You know, it's important that in times of stress or deep grief or confusion, pain, that we can feel into what is good, that we can feel into love. Whether it's a memory of feeling loved, a memory of giving love and care, something that gives us life. Think about it for yourself. Just think about it, just for a moment. What brings you a feeling of love, joy, or peace? Is it a person, a pet, an idea, a place, a song, maybe a memory? Feel into it if you wish. Notice all the comfortable sensations that come with this thought and how they make you feel. Feel it into yourself.
Something happens when we are together and we feel the grief together.
It's like my heart grows bigger. It hurts, but it grows, and not just my heart, our heart.
I feel a connection with each of you and all of them out there in the world.
It's like if one of us is cast out, then God's own body is broken, separated from itself. And even there, God's love lives on in the brokenness.
Oh, Paul was maybe right. In Romans, nothing can separate us from the love of God. Not even death can destroy love.
Okay, I'm ready to continue with the part of Corinthians. Reading. Can we start it again?
Yes. Love never dies. Inspired speech will be over someday.
Praying in tongues will end.
Understanding will reach its limit.
We only know a portion of the truth.
And what we say about God is always incomplete.
But when the complete arrives, our incompletes will be canceled.
When I was an infant, held by my mother, I gurgled and cooed like any infant.
When I grew up, I left those infant ways for good.
We don't see yet things clearly.
We're squinting in a fog.
Kind of like peering in a mist.
But it won't be long before the weather clears.
And the sun shines bright.
We'll see it all then.
See it all clearly as the most divine one herself sees us.
Knowing the Holy One directly.
Just as the divine
knows
us.
Teach me to love, open up my heart, help me to be closer to thee. So my oldest younger sister, she has 2 children. And when they were very, very little, we had Erica, who was the oldest, and she was about 3 years old at this time of the story. And then we had Charlie, who was the youngest. Now he was a little under 1. Charlie had a lot of stuff going on when he was a baby, like some babies do. Erica, when she was a baby, was super easy. One day, my sister was so frustrated with Charlie, she sat down on her steps in the living room, and she sat down and she put her hand in her head in her hand and started crying. She was overwhelmed, and I'm sure there's parents here that have gotten that overwhelmed. Well, my little precious niece, who's 3 years old, blonde hair, big blue eyes, she sits next to her mother and she pats her mom on the knee and she says, "Mommy, I love you." And my sister says, "Oh, thank you, honey, I love you too." And then she looks up at her mother in all earnestness, as if she was saying something that would save my mother's life. "Mommy, do you ever wish you had one child?" Now, if we're being honest, do we sometimes say that to God? Do we sometimes say, "Gosh, if only everybody was like us"? God, do you ever wish that it was just people who loved the way we love? God, are you ever disappointed in these other children of yours? God, do you ever wish you only had one child?
Okay. On the subject of love and great poets, about a year ago, Reverend Sharon did a message where she quoted one of our best poets, Dr. Martin Luther King. And what he said was, "I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." Sing along with me if you want. All I really got to be is positive energy, and all we really got to do is help each other to get through. And I've decided to stick with love. Decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I've decided to stick with love. All I got to be, all I really got to be is positive, positive energy now. We really got to do is help each other to get through. I've decided to stick with love. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I've decided to stick with love. Oh, I've decided. Oh, I've decided. I've decided. I've decided. People, there was a man, for love he took a stand. Hated on the throne in jail, but he never struck back at all. People, this man's name was Dr. Martin Luther King. And these words he said to me, they mean everything. I've decided to stick with love. I've decided to stick with love. You know that hate is too great a burden to bear. I've decided to stick with love. Give me one more though. I've decided to stick with love. I've decided to stick with love. 'Cause hate is too great a burden to bear. I've decided to stick with love. Said hate is too great a burden to bear. I've decided to stick with love. Thanks for the help.
So today, I'm going to read to you one song by Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi. Every war and every conflict between human beings has happened because of some disagreement about names. It is such unnecessary foolishness because just beyond the arguing, there's a long table of compassion set and waiting for us to sit down. What is praised is one. So the praise is one too. Many jugs being poured into a huge basin. All religions, all the singing, one song. The differences are just illusion and vanity. Sunlight looks a little different on this wall than it does on that wall, and a lot different on this other wall. But it is the same light. We have borrowed these clothes with time and space personalities from a light, and when we praise, we are pouring them back in.
Make me a channel of your peace, oh Lord. Make me a channel of your love. Keep me away from the temptation to hurt, that I might be a bearer of harmony and truth. Jesus, understand. The poem. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Not yet.
But for right now,
Until that completeness.
We have 3 things to do.
To lead us toward that consummation.
Trust. Trust steadily in the most divine Holy One.
hope. Hope unswervingly.
Love. Love extravagantly.
And the greatest of the 3
And
is
the
love.
greatest of the 3
And the greatest
And
of
the
the
greatest
3
of the
is
3
love.
And the greatest
And
of
the
the
greatest of the
greatest
3
of the
is
three.
love.
And the
And
greatest
the
of the
greatest
three
of the
is
3
love.
is love.
And the greatest of the 3 is love.
God is love.
I think you guys know this really well. Ready? I want to hear you sing it. Teach me to love. Open up my heart. Help me to be closer to thee. Teach me to love. Open up my heart. Help me to be closer to thee.
Touched by an Angel by Maya Angelou. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness, until love leaves its high holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity in the flush of love's light. We dare to be brave, and suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet it is only love which sets us free.
This next section is how I learned to pray. And I just want to say that I learned how to pray because there were people who were surrounding me who taught me how to pray. People like these amazing women up here. People like the amazing people here, like the song, the singer, the musician. People who came from all kinds of walks of life. And they taught me how to pray because I needed something. I was a troublemaker after all. I did have pervasive feelings of emptiness and despair as a young person. One of the prayers that they taught me was the prayer of St. Francis, which this was a woman who was not even Catholic or Christian who taught me this one. And she said, Kimberly, you know, sometimes we just so badly want to make things happen. Sometimes we so badly want to see change. We want to be the change. We want to do the things. What if we were to just take a breath and allow prayer to move through us? Allow us to be a channel. So I don't know, do you guys stand ever in church? Okay, I'm wondering, like, as we've been sitting a long time, would you guys like to stand up? And so I invite you to recite with me this prayer, followed by a moment of silence, and then we will sing our song again. So take a nice, deep breath. And you can start the prayer any way you wish. God, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. God, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. Make me a channel of your peace, O Lord. Make me a channel of your love. Keep me away from the temptation to hurt, that I might be a bearer of harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Truth, faith, hope, light, joy, peace, forgiveness, understanding, and love.
Wow. I don't know what to say after that. Thank you, Kimberly, Reverend Kimberly. Thank you for bringing this with us, and thank you to our readers and our musicians. We ought to do this again sometime. Okay, with the words on the screen, let's bless our offering together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Oh, birthdays. I'm a little discombobulated today. Is that a word? Okay. Where's Joellen? Right behind me. Okay.
I know there are some people in this room who have a birthday this month. I know there are, and I don't see them right. Yeah, okay. Linda, where are you? No? Okay. Tell us your name and the day of the month.
Hi, I'm Julie, and June 16th.
Dave, June 19th.
Jim, June 12th.
Yay! Let's sing to you guys. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear beloveds. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Jim? Oh, I thought we were going to circle up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we are. Let's close our service, and thank you for being here, and thank you all of you online. I'd like to suggest something as we circle up. Maybe there's someone next to you you don't know. Maybe a visitor to our ministry here today. So why don't you introduce yourself and say, God is love and so are you. Okay. So we have our prayer protection and the peace song together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Each other